afternoon, VC. Back on here for records that have come in this week. And we got a dig in. First time going into Lunchbox this year, and got to meet up with Zonkman from Winston-Salem, fellow VC member. He was in town for a gig, and so we'll get into that here later in the video. First up, we got a record that came in that I'm excited about. Andrew Cyril, featuring Gene Lee and Jimmy Lyons, Nuba, on the Black Saint label from 1979. That's what's playing in the background. This is the opening cut of the B-side, In These Last Days. Of course, Gene Lee on vocal. Yeah, really good stuff. Andrew Cyril throws the kitchen sink at you on this record. He's playing drums, percussion, agago bells, tambourine, slide whistle, bird whistle, triangle, ginger cymbals, towels, castanets, claves, cowbells, African castanets, brushes, sansa, African thumb piano, vibraslap, maracas, chain and lock. That's a mouthful. Jimmy Lyons on alto, Gene Lee with voice and poetry. I was unaware of this record. I can't remember how I stumbled on it, but here it is, and it's a super cheap record. A lot of these Black Saint label releases are still underappreciated. Most of them are overseas, but if you find one in the States, it's usually a good deal. I mean, this was like 15 or less. So here it is. Next, this is a record that I saw on Facebook that Bob Shop posted. They posted part of their wall. And when I saw it, I saw the price, and I thought, oh wow, okay, it's probably $400. And then I looked real close, and I was like, maybe that's 40. Maybe those are two smaller zeros. I was like, no, that can't be right. So the next day, I called the shop, just curious about it. I was like, so do you have that record on the wall? I was like, is it 40? And the guy's like, oh yeah, it's $40. I was like, would you ship it to me? He's like, sure. I was like, yeah, I'm in your system. I order from Discogs from you guys all the time, and talk to Tom and whatnot through email. And he's like, oh, okay, yeah. And so they sent it, and I can't believe that I got this. It's Peter Bromman with Walter Perkins. The Ink is Gone. Now this is on Aramite Records. It is a numbered copy, 518 out of 999. It's basically the third in the Bromman series, or Bro 3. The thing that's unique about this particular copy compared to all the others, every other copy I've seen does not have an actual autograph from Peter Bromman. And that is definitely was not there when it was first made. So this was autographed by the man himself, and this is some good shit. Boot the bastards out to open. Yeah, man. And Walter Perkins, I was not really familiar with him too much. Underrated drummer, for sure. But Peter's playing clarinet, teragato, and alto and tenor on this. And it's a couple of different performances, one in Boston, from '02, and one from Philadelphia from '02. So the Oni Gallery and Tritone in Philly. Yeah, this is fantastic. Big piece in the collection now. So next up, we'll get into the records from the dig with Mr. Bender. The Zonkman. Was really good to see him, and we had a good time, man. We didn't have a whole lot of time in the shop because the shop closes at 6, and I think we got there sometime around, I got there I think a little bit before 5 maybe, or no, probably, I don't know, a little bit after maybe, but I found this in the Used Jazz. He had put up a flip video a few weeks back of a few Dollar Brand records that had come in, Abdullah Ibrahim, and this one was still there, and it was really cheap because of the condition of the cover, and that's a Cape Town Fringe on the Cyril label, which is a U.S. imprint that reissued a lot of records from South Africa that were on different labels prior. I think this actually has a completely different cover and label earlier on, you know, the South African issue. But yeah, nice group here. I think it's all South African musicians with him. Basil Coetzee, Robbie Jansen, Paul Michaels. 2 side-long pieces, really good. Dave Wayne had just shown some of these records, and so that's the reason I picked this one up. Yeah, and it's fantastic. The other record I found used in Lunchbox on that dig was a classic, ACDC, For Those About to Rock. Original year copy. The thing that's cool about this one, the cover's not in the best of shape. It's not bad. The record is VG+. It was marked VG+, and it's actually more near mint. It sounds incredible. Yeah, this is really good heaviness and clean sounding. This copy has an RL stamp in the dead wax and an SP stamp. Really cool. It took me a while to find it on Discogs because there's, you know, almost 400 different releases of this album, but I did find it. Yeah, on Atlantic. Stoked to have a copy of that. I've been into some ACDC lately. Sticking with the classic rock, been on the Whatnot lately, just kind of seeing how it all functions and what there is to offer and how it works and all those things. I won't be messing with it at all ever going forward. I'm not really going to get into it. People that I communicate with a lot already know my feelings on the can I get a what. But they give you $15 just for opening up the damn app. So you have a $15 credit to spend. So there was another vendor I was looking at, and they had some buy it nows, and so I got this for $15. Rolling Stones, Beggar's Banquet, original copy, on a US copy on London, VG plus record. Cover's not in great shape. I could care less. It was free. Well, $3 shipping is all I paid for this. So that's all I'll ever do with that. But yeah, you know, classic tunes on here. You know, Sympathy for the Devil, etc. I don't need to say a whole lot about this, but happy to have a copy, and it plays great. And I think I picked up one more item at Lunchbox on the dig with Zonkman. Yeah, I went over to the CD section and grabbed Pallbearer Heartless on CD. I think this came out in 2017. I could be wrong on the year. Every now and again, I need some good heavy, more on the metal end of things in my life. So this was for the vehicle, and actually, Steven picked up a Pallbearer on vinyl. So, and it was the only copy that Scott had. So we wiped him, and this was the only CD he had of this band. So we wiped him out of his Pallbearer. And show a couple more records and get into more of what went on after the dig. This arrived in the mail. Was happy to find this. Lee Perry presents Megaton Dub 2. This is on Seven Leaves Records out of the UK. Killer dub LP. Fisherman dub, Zion and dub. Yeah, this is absolutely killer. It's not a first pressing, which I think we're on yellow labels. This guy's a white label. But yeah, I'm always down for picking up any Lee Perry that I don't have. UK copy, mint shape. Then the last thing that came in this week is this 7-inch from Sorry State Records in Raleigh, and that's the Scarecrow. It's an EP, a Crisis EP, and this is fucking cool as hell. This is crusty ass punk. Really good. I dig it. This is the kind of opens up like this. This dude right here on the end, I know he works at the shop. I think this is the owner of the shop right here. So this is the whole deal with this. Yeah. It's got a lyric sheet. It's cool as well. I can open it up. Well, there's a lyric sheet that kind of opens up. There it is. A lot of words. And I'll show you the record. There's, I think, a colored vinyl version of this, but I didn't want the colored vinyl. I got the regular black. But it's Bunker Punks and Discs and Tapes is the label. And it's the really cool looking label there. Yeah. Pain for Profit. Good shit. This is 30. It's a 33 1/3 RPM 7-inch. It says "Play Loud" on it. It has a stamp for the label on the sleeve, which is really cool. And then, of course, dude always throws in extras, so there's like a sticker and like a flyer in with it as well. Always cool shit from Sorry State in Raleigh. One of the premier punk shops in the country going now. So it's cool to get that. But this is some dope shit. Playing right here, Jimmy Lyons going off. So yeah, back to the dig. After we left Lunchbox, we went over to the Diamond restaurant here in Charlotte, which formed out of the shutting down of the Penguin, which was a legendary restaurant here. That when that shut down, two different groups that were working with the Penguin split up, and one group opened the Diamond just down the street, kept a lot of the menu from the Penguin, and then the other part opened up Pinky's in the West Side, and they're both phenomenal. Pinky's, you normally have a wait, like a 30 to 45 minute wait to even sit anywhere in there. It's very popular, but Diamond's just as good. And we got the fried pickles, which are legendary, and has some really good local beer. And then I think Zonkman thought the show that he was in town to go to at Snug Harbor was starting at 7:30. So we went over to the Doors. I was going to say what's up to my friend Chris, who usually he bartends there and usually runs the door. I hadn't seen him in a while. And we went over there at 7:30, and the gate was still up. And the drummer for the band he was there to see, King Buffalo from Rochester, New York, was just sitting there by himself outside. And they actually had all their merch set up outside. It's the first time I've ever seen a band have all the merch outside. And then he told me it's a sold out gig, and I was like, "Whoa, that makes sense. They need more room inside for all the people that are going to be there." And I've only been to 2 other sold out gigs at Snug ever, and I've been there a shit ton of times. So I was like, "Oh wow!" And then he told me he had an extra ticket. I didn't know he had an extra ticket, and whoever was going with him couldn't go. So I was like, "All right, I'll go then. Screw it." And then. But we saw that the show didn't start till 9:30, so we went over to Common Market and got a beer there and hung out there for a while. And then when it was time for the Doors, we went up to Snug, got to see my friend Chris, and we saw 2 bands. And I did support the opening band by buying some merch. They had drumsticks autographed, Promark. So I got this from the drummer of the first band, Swell Fellas, and they were pretty good. And this is a really cool little item to have from them. And then King Buffalo was great. I had never heard them. and it's good to see a band from Rochester, New York getting a big following, especially all the way here in the South. I mean, it was sold out. The last sold out show I went to at Snug was Negative Approach, and I'm trying to, and I think before that was Basque from Asheville was sold out. Those are the only sold out gigs that I think I've been to at Snug. Yeah, they played great. I'll put a little bit of footage here in the video. Their bass player really impressed me. A lot of groove from the bass player. Young guy too. You know, picking style, really good stuff. And the vocalist had really good singer, really good vocal delivery. And he played some keys too. He would loop the guitar and then play some keys in between on some songs, which was really interesting. I don't see many guys doing that. But yeah, we had a really good time. So that was this past week. I hope you're all well out there. Peace.